Hi guys, it's Thel from thelsprinkles. I wanted to jump in as promised to make this little video tutorial on how to slice letters to reflect your personal pictures. We saw a beautiful Tumblr on Facebook today, and a lot of you wanted to know how that is accomplished. So I'm gonna just jump in and try to take my time as much as I can. If I miss something or if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask after you see this video. But I just opened my design space. I typed the word mom just for time purposes. I'm not going to do the entire word grandma. I'm just going to do mom, and we're just going to go from there. You're just going to repeat the same process for each one of the letters. So I think this should be fine. The font that I'm using is Arial Black. So just go ahead and make sure you have that font because it's pretty thick and you're going to slice it into the pictures anyway. I'm going to unlock it to manipulate the size, the width and the height. Now, assuming this is for a skinny tumbler or something like that, you can even do this on shirts, but we're going to focus on a tumbler tutorial right now. I'm making this, I guess I would make it maybe like 6, let's do 6.5 as my width. And then my height right now is 2.185. If you're okay with that, then we can start working on that. But if you want to make it just slightly bigger, we can do that. You can play with this as, you know, take your measurements on your tumbler or your shirt and just kind of go from there. We're just going to leave it for now at 6.5. Now, eventually you'll want to ungroup this word, but we're not going to worry about that right now. You do want to size it to the final size that you're going to want, because of the slicing and stuff like that. It's going to be very hard to undo, or you'll probably have to start all over after you place your images. So you want to figure out what size you want the entire word to be based on whatever project you're going to be working on, and then go from there. And then also, before you get started doing any of this, you might want to upload whatever pictures you want to use for your word. It helps a lot to have, let's see, this is 3 letters, so typically we would choose 3 pictures. But there's some instances where letters like this that have like 2 sections, kind of like the A and the M, you may want to use 2 pictures per letter. So I always, like for this one, I would probably upload a total of like 5 or 6 photos that I kind of want to use to play with, because in your mind you'll think, oh, that picture would look great on this letter M, but then once you start putting it on there, it's not at all gonna work out. And you'll want to have some at your disposal, some extra pictures at your disposal, so you don't waste time and try looking through finding the perfect photos. So I've already uploaded some photos here from my album, and I'm just going to insert one at a time. I'm going to choose one, insert it, and then I want this image to be behind my word, right? So I'm going to ungroup the word, and I'm going to select my M. I didn't have to arrange it, but you know, if you need to, just go ahead and arrange and either send to back or send to front, whatever you're trying to do. But I like to have the letter in the front to know where I'm going to be placing the picture. And then here you can manipulate the picture. You can make it smaller, bigger, however you feel will work best. Just remember that it's going to slice in between the gaps, so you want to make sure you have good coverage. Like, I really don't care if the top of the head comes out. I definitely want the eyes and the mouth to come out. And initially I thought I was going to use another picture for this M, but I really like the way the background comes out, and you'll see. I'm going to select both objects and then hit slice here at the bottom. I never delete this letter because if I screw up on something and I have to start all over, I want to already have my measurements and stuff in place. So I just hide it for now. And then this is what I'm working with. I would be happy with this. I won't need this large picture anymore that's sliced. So I'm just going to set this one to the side. But I really like the way this background came out, and some of his body even shows there. So I would be happy with this picture. I'm going to go ahead and leave that as is. Now we're going to be working on the O. I'm going to choose my next image. And this one's a pretty large image, so I'm just going to size it down to a 4. I'm just picking a random number that will make it small enough. I will manipulate the image, but I'm just changing the rotation here also so that I can have it where I want it. I'm going to change the letter, send it to front. Now I do want to place, this actually works out, but on pictures like this where some people are up here and then there's another one way at the bottom, on some letters it would probably not work. So you want to keep that in mind as well. You can always rotate it also, so just play with it until you're happy with what you have come up with. I think I'm gonna go ahead and settle for that. So I will select both and slice them. Again, I'm not gonna delete this black one. I'm just gonna go ahead and hide that. I am gonna delete this one, and here are my babies and myself. So I'm gonna set that aside. And now we're gonna work on the last letter. I'm gonna make a mistake for this next one on purpose because I want you to see something that could potentially happen, and you may not notice it until you're actually putting it on your tumbler, and then that would really suck. Changing the size here really quickly, and the rotation, it's just the way I took the picture, I guess. Send this M to the front, and then this works out perfect because I got 2 little people that I'm going to be putting on this letter, and that placement works out fine. But when I did this dry run, I had the picture something like this because I was focusing on the heads and trying to place them properly. So I did that, highlighted both of them, sliced them, and then I'll show you what happens. This here, so you want to make sure you have complete coverage on the letter over your picture. You don't want the letter, any part of it, to be poking out before you slice, because when you slice it, it's going to cut that off and it's going to create a royal mess. So I'm going to undo that. I just wanted to show you the mistake that I made, and I was so focused on the pictures coming out that I didn't see that part cutting out. And when I learned to do this, I had to start all over because I was so nervous about it. But I just returned it all the way back to how I originally started and how I was happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and select both of them, slice it. Do not get rid of this one. And I'm not entirely happy about that. So I'm going to just delete this, unhide that, and start all over. This just seems easier than the undo button sometimes. I feel like the undo button sometimes takes a long time and it lags to populate. So I'm just gonna start all over here. Excuse me. So again, I'm going to arrange this, send it to the front, and this time looks like I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and move their heads further up here. So I'm going to just rotate it a little bit. Again, I really don't care if their hair comes out. I don't want a big old slice in between or in the middle across their face. So I think I'm going to go with that. Highlight them, slice them. Do not get rid of that. And I would be happy with that. So then what you want to do is you want to select all of them. And you want to make sure they're aligned. So I'm going to align them to center vertically, and then I'm going to align them again and distribute vertically. No, excuse me, distribute horizontally. That way they can be even on their space in between each letter, if you're happy with that. So I'm happy with that. I like the way it turned out. Now I'm going to go ahead, since it's all selected still, and my sizing is at 6.6, so I think that's fine. If you want the letters a little closer, you can do that. And then highlight it all, align, distribute vertically, center vertically. Just doing them all so that they can be even there. So once they're selected, all the way I come down to the bottom, hit flatten, and you're doing this on a tumbler. So assuming you're going to seal it, I would just print this on printable vinyl. It's flimsy enough to work around your tumblers, and I will put in the description box the type of printable vinyl I use. Actually, let me go ahead and just show you. I have it handy because I use it often. But this is the printable vinyl that I use and I absolutely love. It comes packaged like this. And you can see it's called printable vinyl sticker paper. I have an inkjet printer, but this is obviously for both, so that's another plus. It's got this little Velcro thing, and then I'm just going to pull one out so you can see what I'm talking about. Super flimsy, and the material is just super nice. Like, I haven't had a single problem with this one. The quality of the product is really good, and it's surprisingly not terribly expensive. I think these are 30 sheets, and they're matte, which doesn't really matter because if you're going to be sealing it with epoxy, it's going to have that shine to it anyway. But I will, if you want the link to that, I'll go ahead and send it your way. But you'll want to, okay, so this is flattened. Once it's flattened, you can go ahead and make it. And it's just the way you want it. So then you hit continue, send to printer. I always add bleed to things like this because I was working on other projects here and I need to make sure I close these, well, not close them out, but there we go. So what was I saying? I'm sorry. Like, this is a raw video. Like, I've never really shot videos before, and I just started my business. So I apologize if I'm repeating myself or not giving you enough information. But I promise I'm trying to do the best I can, and I want to help everybody because I remember what it was like to feel lost. So once you get to this stage, you want to choose your printer, obviously. Oh, I always add bleed to these types because I do want it to bleed out a little bit and cut. I don't want white to be in the cut. So that's basically what that means is if you take this off, when it starts cutting, it's going to cut a little bit out of your letter. So a little bit of the white is going to show. And I mean, you don't want that. You want a precise cut within the picture. And in order to do that, you have to leave your add bleed on. And then I use the system dialog. Do I need that? No, I don't need that because it's going to print on a matte paper. Usually if it's like a shiny sticker paper, I will use the system dialog because I want to choose glossy paper on my finish. So I'm not going to choose that here. It's not a sticky glossy paper, it's just matte. So I'm not going to do that. And then I'm going to hit print. I'm obviously not going to print this because I don't need it. But once you hit print, it'll come out on your printable vinyl. You'll put it on your green mat up there and feed it through your printer. I'm gonna pretend I already printed it, but once it comes out of your printer, you'll want to choose the material that you're gonna cut. I have the Cricut maker, and my setting would be let's see. No, that's not what I use. I think I use premium outdoor vinyl. Let me see. I just had a brain fart on this, so I don't. Let me see what I've got here. Oh no, printable vinyl. So there is a setting for it. I choose the setting that it recommends because of the settings for the cut are already on there. So yeah, printable vinyl is what you want to choose for the cut. Hit done. If you know your blade is old, you want to hit more. Some people hit more even if their blade isn't old. I don't do that. I got my Cricut maker last Christmas, and I've still used the exact same blade that came with the maker, and I've used it every day since I got it. So I don't really have a need to do more. The only time I do that is if I'm cutting into like glitter cardstock or something a little bit heavier. But so I don't choose that. I leave it at default. And then you cut. Once you cut, you're going to take off. So I'm just going to show you this other one. This is my sticky glossy paper, but this is the bleed that I'm talking about. This is how it bleeds. So the blade is going to cut in here instead of cutting out here. But once the letters get cut, you'll just take the letter off manually, align it on your tumbler, and what else? Just go ahead and seal it. I do want to give you a small little tip just because it's here and I remember. But when you buy Cricut vinyl or heat transfer vinyl, or rolls of stuff that you buy, these rolls come inside the vinyl. I just take those out. I hot glued some popsicle sticks to it. It's super sturdy, and I use it to put my tumbler on like that to align my decals and keep it from moving. And it really helps, and it was free, and that works for me. So that's what I do. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry that it took 20 minutes to explain this. I bet you you're gonna do it in like a jiffy, but this is my very first video. And I promise I know what I'm doing. I don't have the etiquette that other professional YouTubers or other people use for their videos. But if you have questions, please hit me up, thelsprinkles LLC, and you'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's all at thelsprinkles, THEL sprinkles. And my Etsy page is thelsprinkles.etsy.com. So thanks for watching.